Liz, thank you so much for covering a topic that I think a lot of rider students deal with at some point in their rider career, getting involved, getting committed, getting overcommitted, over involved. So what have you experienced personally or seen others experience that are signs of overcommitment where you might then need to take a step back and reevaluate what you're involved in?
Yeah, I think there's a few different ways you can kind of understand when you're overcommitted, whether that's internal factors, but then it turns into an external factor when other people begin to notice when you are too overcommitted and you can't really keep up with your responsibilities. So I think internally it can look like everything from feeling constantly overwhelmed, like you have this pile of tasks that never seems to be getting completed and more just keeps getting added on. I think another big thing, especially for me, is you always feel double booked. Like you look at your Google Calendar and you see all of your organizations and there's all these overlapping meetings. When you start to question, how am I supposed to even attend all of these different responsibilities that I have? I think when you start to make silly mistakes on things you normally wouldn't, when you're not overbooked and you have your focus and your priorities. But then I think the biggest indicator internally is when you have trouble saying no. When you feel like when people ask you to do things, you can't take a step back and say, I can't really do this at this time. Could you please ask someone else? But then I think externally, I'm in a position in SGA where I oversee a lot of student leaders and a lot of student leaders that are very and heavily involved around campus. And here, that's when I start to notice externally when they stop showing up. That's my biggest indicator. And when that line of communication is a little bit off, I've seen some of these student leaders in SGA for 4 years now, and I know the incredible work that they can accomplish. But when they stop showing up and kind of cut off that line of communication, that's that indicator to me that I need to reach out and see where I can be of help, and see if I can help them evaluate what their priorities are and how they can continue being successful in our organization.
Absolutely. And I've also seen you need to listen to your body. I think your body and your mind tell you. If you're not sleeping, that's a problem. So you need to take care of yourself holistically.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree. If you start seeing any of those things slip, it's time to take a step back and really think about what you're committed to. Awesome. And you talked a little bit about assertiveness and being able to say no, which can be a challenge sometimes. So what would be your advice to any student who may not feel that they have the confidence or the ability to say no? So how can you give them some advice that they won't overcommit themselves by being more confident in being able to let a person know, I would love to help you, it's something that I can't do right now?
I think the biggest thing, first and foremost, is always clarify your priorities and find out what's most important to you, because it's going to be harder to say yes or no to a task when you're not sure if it aligns with your values and your purpose within an organization. So I had a wonderful mentor, my SJ advisor, Barbara, who really helped me sit down and see which organizations I could set my priorities to. So whether that's finding a mentor on campus or just doing an internal evaluation to see what's most important to you, that's going to be the biggest thing that helps you say no. I would also say take a moment to think about things. I think sometimes people can corner you in the moment, and in the heat of the moment, it's harder to say no when someone's asking you to fulfill a responsibility. So if you just say something simple like, possibly, let me take a look at my schedule, can I get back to you on this? Then it helps you. It takes you away from the situation. You can evaluate if it's something that you can fit in, and then you can give the appropriate response to whoever that was requesting it. And then I think the very last thing is learning how to delegate, especially when you work with a team or an organization. If you can't commit your time to someone, maybe there's someone else that could and has the right passions, the skills that would be able to complete the job and do it really well. So even if you can't personally accomplish it, you can find someone else and hand that task off and know that it's going to be done to the best of their abilities as well.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing some very wise and sage advice for our students. And I know you know about it because you've lived it and you've had that opportunity to work through it. So hopefully we can encourage our rider students to do the same and learn what their values are and how to align them best with the commitments that they ultimately decide to get involved in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.